Once again, coming to you live from not parts unknown. Tomas is actually here tonight.
I
You can
escaped.
see his face. You escaped.
Yeah.
You escaped the impact zone.
Yeah. Ultimate Warrior and Kane say hi. Oh, Papa Shango too. Papa Shango said you owe him money.
So for the second time in history, we finally get WWE Evolution. It should not take 7 more years to do another one of these. I'm just gonna throw that like right out in the open from the get-go, because the first Evolution I thought was great. It was the shining bright spot in a pretty bad year for WWE if you really think about it in
In
hindsight.
2018, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So the fact that it took them this long to do another all-women spectacular is mind-boggling to me.
An
Uh,
all women's pay-per-view should not only be necessary, it should be required every year in the WWE. If you
yes.
want to, for a quick retrospective on my relationship with women's wrestling, we talk about a lot this in the retrospective. From 2002 to about 2015, I didn't really care about the women. And I'm not sitting here saying, oh, women can't wrestle. Women shouldn't be in a wrestling ring. Wrestling is a man's sport. No, it's because the WWE never made me care about the women. It was all about the bra and panties. It was all about the sexual appeal. And the women got less than 5 minutes for every match. There was a women's championship, sure, because you know, that was off the heels of great champions like the Medusa and Leilani Kai, which we'll talk about on this show, and Fabulous Moolah, Mae Young, all of the women pioneers of the past.
Wendy
From,
Richter.
yeah, Wendy Richter. From, I want to say, the late 90s until the mid 2010s, the WWE did not care about women's wrestling. Like I
Nope.
said, it was all about mud fights and bra and panties and women getting less than 5 minutes on the show and getting on their knees and barking like a dog. I was never put in a position to care about women's wrestling. 2014 rolls around and a little promotion called NXT gets off the ground. And I don't want to give WWE all the credit. We can't, because you have promotions like TNA that are tearing the world up with their women's wrestling. I think Gail Kim and Awesome Kong is easily the greatest women's rivalry in that company's history. But when NXT rolled around, we had a little match on that show. It was Charlotte Flair versus Natalya, and it was fucking awesome. Those women tore it up. Then we evolved to women like Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Mercedes Moné, aka Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, Paige, aka Zaria, Alexa Bliss. There was women on the main roster that were really good wrestlers, but were never given the attention they deserve. Beth Phoenix, Mickie James, Michelle McCool, who just went in the Hall of Fame. I'll even credit to wrestlers like Candice Michelle, who we're going to talk about on the retro. These women were really pushing the boundaries of what the women could be shown and what they could do. And then around 2014, 2015, a little hashtag started going around social media. Hashtag give divas a chance.
Divas Revolution.
They were tired of, they were tired of 3-minute matches. They were tired of bra and panties. They were tired of bikini contests. They wanted to see the women wrestle. So those aforementioned names, Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Mercedes Moné, they were brought up to the main roster after tearing it up in NXT, and women's wrestling finally started getting taken seriously. And I want to say it hasn't been a perfect, smooth ride for the past 10 years, but women's wrestling means more now than it does ever. Now we have women like Iyo Sky, Rhea Ripley, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer. The women's division is bigger and stronger than ever. And when that first evolution happened in 2018, that was really a point in the company where I cared a lot more what the women were doing than what the men were doing. Dare I say, this pay-per-view was so damn good, I'm starting to feel that way again. The women's division is on fire right now between Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. This is one of the best women's divisions on the planet. Not going to give them all the credit. You still have great women in TNA. You have great women in AEW, even though I don't feel like they're being utilized correctly. You have a great women's division in Ring of Honor. You have all women's promotions in Japan, like Stardom. We want more of this. And it's honestly really nice to see if there is one. Okay, wrestling fans suck, especially the ones on the internet. But if there's one thing we can all collectively agree on is that we love women's wrestling and we want to see more of it.
Yeah, and I mean that was a fantastic history lesson that you gave us, like from the Divas Revolution, like through the last days of Vince McMahon into Triple H's takeover on the main roster. And it was like Hunter's booking in NXT Black and Gold, I think, really helped solidify that women's athletes in WWE can be taken seriously. And this show was set up to fail. It really was.
Also, realize how I omitted 2 names. We'll get to that later on when we get to a certain match.
Yes.
And honestly, I am so sorry. How could we leave out Trish Stratus and Lita? If it wasn't for Trish Stratus and Lita, I don't even think we would have gotten a Divas Revolution.
No way. No fucking way. That much is true. But what I was getting at, this show, which emanated live from Atlanta, Georgia, was the culmination of a very long weekend for WWE with the Great American Bash, Saturday night's main event the night before with Goldberg's final match, and now this show. Evolution this year did not have as great of a build as the first Evolution did, where you were looking forward to the last woman standing match between Charlotte and Becky. You were looking forward to, I'll say it, Ronda versus Nikki in the main event. I
still have mixed feelings about that match. A lot of people say it was amazing. I thought it was decent at best.
But this show was... they doomed this show. Like, it was... It did not seem like the planning committee at TKO did not give a rat's ass about this, and it almost felt like an obligatory, okay, fine, you can have another Evolution. Fine.
And they did it in a way where it's like, another Evolution? Let's put it at the tail end of 3 wrestling shows. And like I said...
Not to mention, all while trying to sabotage their competition's biggest show of the year.
Yeah.
So...
I said it when we did the All In review. I think the people who suffered the most were NXT, unfortunately. I don't hear anyone talking about that show, despite the amazing last man standing match for the North American Championship. And nobody was really talking about this show going into it. And I was already frustrated. You can tell everybody, all the viewers, that I was even saying, I can't wait for this pay-per-view to bomb so WWE can blame the women and we have to wait another 10 years for a pay-per-view like this. And I don't want that. No. I want more women's pay-per-views. Hell, the NXT women's division is so stacked, they could branch off and have their own damn show.
Yeah.
I don't know what they would call it, but women's wrestling is just so pivotal right now. And to put any of the blame on the women would be blasphemy. I mean, even legends who were on this card, like Trish Stratus, were saying that the women are a little whipped, that their pay-per-view was kind of put on the back burner. So it felt like a lot of these ladies were wrestling with the chip on their shoulder, as they should. And kudos to the crowd right now. From start to finish, they were white hot for this show.
And a shout out to my friend Doug, who does theater in the area, directs some shows here. He was actually sitting pretty front and center by the entrance aisle wearing Naomi get up, and he was doing he was fierce on camera. So it was really fun to watch him. But
I hope he proceeded with caution.
I'm sure he did, and I'm sure he really loves the ending of this show. Doug, if you're watching this, cheers to you, friend. But this is, I'll be honest, man, the women deserve all the credit for how great this show was. As good as Triple H's booking might be, this is not Triple H's doing. The women deserve all the credit for how great this show was.
Dare I say there was not one weak match on this show?
No way. And another pivotal point, Triple H, you can have more than 5 matches on a B show, and it feels like it's a seamless... It feels like it's such an easy watch. You don't have to deal with all the bullshit commercials with Alpha Academy trying to sell you Snickers. You know? Can have more than 5 matches.
I was so thrilled when I realized this card had 7 matches on the show. Honestly, this pay-per-view should not have done as well as it did, but the women came through, and I am so excited to talk about this show. The only regret I have is I didn't get to watch it live. Hell, I didn't even get to watch it the night of. I had to wait till the day after to watch it. So unfortunately, I wasn't as into this as I would want to be. But as I was watching it, I was like, damn, this is really, really good. I want more of this. WWE is in the right direction. It's also still, I don't mean to get on my high horse, but at the same time, I do. It's a shame that we have to fight so hard to get one women's pay-per-view a year. That, the women should be on the same level as the men. And if we're talking about equity here, this should not be a thing. But unfortunately, in the world we live in, it is. And my only advice to all the fans is you're doing a good job of it already. You want more of this? Make more noise. I think the fans behaved perfectly on this show. They showed that they love women's wrestling and they want more of it. And honestly, it's the best thing to come out of this crazy weekend. Yes, better than Hangman Page winning the world title. Yes, Goldberg having a somewhat decent match. This was the best thing to come out of this weekend.
Yeah,
and it was a pleasant surprise.
It was. Yeah, no, this was... Honestly, I could argue this is one of the best 3 WWE shows of the year so far.
Oh, yeah. I definitely agree. And
it's top 3.
We open up hot with this show. First of all, that opening hype package was so awesome. To see those little girls watching the TV, watching the literal, yes, pun intended, evolution of the women's division and what we've evolved to tonight. We open up this show, a triple threat match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship as Becky Lynch defends against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. This is one of my favorite women's feuds going on Monday Night Raw right now, maybe in the company. We've talked about it time and time again. I may be kicking a dead horse, but let me grind it to dust. Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria have been bringing out the best in each other, and Lyra Valkyria has come out of the end of this such a star. And she has shown she is one of the best workhorses in WWE right now. It brings joy to my heart because I remember a few months ago, a lot of people were saying, why is Lyra Valkyria on the main roster? She doesn't really bring anything to the table. She fucking proved everyone wrong. And here she is in a triple threat with 2 of those aforementioned four horsewomen that put the women's division at the next level it needed to be at.
Yeah. And Lyra Valkyria is money. She absolutely is. She has... Ever since this whole bullshit with Becky Lynch started after WrestleMania, when Becky turned heel on her on the night after Mania, after they won the tag team titles, it's just been such a treat to see her growth. And this is what the Intercontinental Championship should be in general. It should be the stepping stone to the main event. And with Becky Lynch holding this title, it feels so fucking valuable. And with Bayley coming back and trying to exact revenge on Becky, while also trying to add that accolade to her already storied career, this was a perfect storm here. And these 3 ladies went in there. The crowd, like you said, was white hot. They were cheering before anybody even locked horns. It was loud in that arena. I was waiting for the decibel meter to show up on the bottom left.
We knew this was going to be a good match from the start. And also, more props to Bayley for doing an excellent job of putting Lyra Valkyria over. Because you know what? WWE easily could have just made this Becky Lynch versus Bayley and taken Lyra Valkyria out of the equation. Not only did they add her in, since we're reviewing this show after the fact, Lyra Valkyria defeated Bayley in an excellent 2 out of 3 falls match to get a Women's Intercontinental Championship match at SummerSlam. Bayley put her over. They easily could have been like, no, Becky Lynch and Bayley, they're the bigger stars. We want them marqueing SummerSlam. This is what I'm saying. Lyra Valkyria has really proven herself to be in this contest. And I know I'm kind of burying the lead by announcing this match, but I'm going to say it right now. I think Lyra Valkyria should win the Intercontinental title back at SummerSlam.
Oh, I think she's going to. Going to, because what that sets up is Bayley eventually turning heel on Lyra out of jealousy. And then those 2 can have a program probably dating all the way through the end of the year.
Man, I'm just saying right now, Lyra Valkyria definitely has a women's world championship in her future.
Definitely. She's my early pick to win the Royal Rumble next year.
Yeah,
I'm just going to throw that out there.
What a great story she's had this year. This is just so awesome. From watching her in NXT, seeing where she's at right now. This is how you make a star. This is what I wanted. More women stars being elevated in the company. And I think Lyra Valkyria has been their guinea pig. And, with other women we're going to see on this show, good things are to come.
And more phenomenal wrestling between all 3. Just the transitions and the counters that were going on. Becky Lynch, trying to lock on the disarm her at certain points in the match. Bayley, I know you were very happy about this. I mean, there were like Northern Light suplexes, fisherman busters. Fans were chanting, "This is awesome," rightfully so. As overplayed as that fucking chant is, the Atlanta crowd smartly waited until the match was awesome to tell the people that this is awesome. And they were Becky kept trying to go for the manhandle slam. Bayley hits a Bayley to belly. And I know you marked the fuck out for this, Tomas.
I did, and I know I'm not alone. I hate the rose plant. It's such an awkward finish. It's up there with the Playmaker. It's up there with John Moxley's original iteration of Dirty Deeds. It's just such a bad move.
Well,
too much setup, and there's no impact. That's my thing. A finishing move needs to have impact. You need to look at that move and go, damn, that knocked you the fuck out. Look at the tombstone pile driver. Look at the rock bottom. Look at the attitude adjustment. Look at the RKO. All those moves are devastating. Your opponent up in an arm and just lightly tapping their face on the mat. No.
I'd rather have the rose plant be my finisher than the Playmaker or the overdrive. I'm just being honest. Because at least you're driving their head down into the mat. Playmaker, it's just a fancy way to put someone down for a nap.
Yeah, you put your leg over their neck, and then you awkwardly just turn them over.
Yeah.
So weird. Yeah, and you know what? I will give it this. Out of all of those finishers I just listed, the rose plant is the least offensive. There's no oomph to it. There's no, like, bam, boom, you hit your finisher, 1, 2, 3, match is over. No, it's there. It reminds me a lot of Seth Rollins' Revolution knee. That was a horrible move.
Yeah, because he couldn't use the pedigree anymore, and he couldn't use the
curb stomp.
He could not use the curb stomp. So I remember like that year that he brought the curb stomp back, I was so fucking happy. I was like, yeah, thank God he has a move with fucking impact now. But another thing I loved about this triple threat is the saves. Constantly towards the end, Bayley hits that belly to belly on Becky. Lyra jumps in, makes the save right at the end. Becky hits Lyra with the manhandle slam. Bayley jumps in, makes the save right at the last minute. Lyra hits the Nightwing on Becky Lynch, and Bayley runs in and breaks it up. It's, the timing was impeccable here, and which plays into a brilliant finish because Bayley hits the aforementioned rose plant on Lyra. She's pinning her. Becky Lynch with probably the smoothest backslide I've ever seen in my life pins Becky Lynch, or Becky pins herself. She pins Bayley. She pins Bayley. Sorry, I'm very excited. This was a 4 1/4 star match. Becky Lynch pins and wins to retain. It was. People wanted this match to main event this show because of the story that was surrounding it, and if it went on last, it shouldn't have because it's the Intercontinental Championship, but it's well warranted. It was well warranted. It was a excellent contest.
I think this was a really strong opener. The fans and the whole energy really brought it. I'm going to give it 3 3/4 stars. I thought it was very strong, and all ladies really brought their biggest strengths to this match. And even though this really felt like a blow-off, I'm glad it continued on. Like I said, Lyra Valkyria did defeat Bayley in a 2 out of 3 falls match to win another shot at the Intercontinental Championship. That's going to happen at SummerSlam. That match needs a stipulation. I kind of wish they didn't do a 2 out of 3 falls for the number 1 contenders, because I think that would have been an excellent stipulation for Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. Don't count this out, and this may just me be wishing Iron Women. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering SummerSlam is 2 nights now. I mean, they can kind of do whatever they want, but...
A 30-minute Iron Woman match would be fucking awesome. I think that would be an amazing way to crown Lyra Valkyria, not only as the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, but also just to elevate her even more. And what more could you ask for than 2 multiple-time women's champions, 2 women that felt like they have done it all in the business? Just, again, combine forces, putting over Lyra Valkyria. Anybody who had an issue with Becky Lynch taking away Bayley's spot, I think this whole feud right here more than makes up for it.
Yeah, it definitely has for me. As upset as I was in the moment at WrestleMania when Bayley was taken out for a fake injury, it's, I mean, you just don't do that to somebody. You say that, hey, you're gonna have a WrestleMania spot, and then right at the last minute, you're like, okay, even though we're advertising you, you're not gonna be in it. It's
Yeah.
Bayley's a professional, to say the very least. Okay, so up next we have for the NXT Women's Championship. Man, it's been a fucking eternity since we've talked about NXT.
Yeah,
We
not on
have
purpose. We swear we like NXT. It's just when there's so many wrestling shows, unfortunately, one of them has to take the back burner. And sorry, NXT. I don't blame you guys. I blame Vince McMahon in 2021 for basically stripping you away of all your awesomeness. You're getting there. You're being awesome again. It's an unfortunate formality.
Thank you, Sean. For the NXT Women's Championship, it's Jacy Jayne representing Fatal Attraction, as Wade Barrett continuously called them on commentary, and Michael Cole called them out because that's a copyrighted movie title. Jacy is defending against Jordynne Grace, who I feel like is 70% muscle, and just, well, not 70, no, sorry, I'm being way too facetious. Jordynne Grace is like 99% muscle.
She is. Jordynne Grace looks like she just swallowed a cow and just absorbed all the properties there.
Yeah.
A quick recap for the viewers that don't watch NXT. Jacy Jayne, with the upset of the century, beat Stephanie Vaquer for the NXT Women's Championship.
That is putting it mildly. When I saw that Stephanie Vaquer lost the NXT Women's title, I was like, oh, okay, I guess they're trying to strap the rocket to her and put her on the main roster. But then I saw she lost it to Jacy Jayne, who, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot was on the roster.
Yeah, nothing against Jacy Jayne. She's been working very hard. She's kind of like a female powerhouse Hobbs. She's been being jumped around faction to faction. She was a part of Toxic Attraction. Now she leads the Fatal Influence. Not saying Jacy Jayne doesn't deserve the NXT Women's Championship, just seeing her positioning on the card and how she just randomly challenged Stephanie Vaquer after the last NXT pay-per-view. And then after Stephanie Vaquer retained against Jordynne Grace, they just slapped the title onto Jacy Jayne. It's really put her as the underdog champion, and now everybody's just assuming, when is Jayne going to drop this title? Unfortunately, I think she is a transitional champion, but they're still trying to make her as strong as possible. I say that because, number one, she's facing Jordynne Grace in this match. Number two, I didn't know this until the entrances. The winner of this match is going on to TNA Slammiversary, which is tomorrow, I believe, to face Masha Slamovich in a winner-take-all match. One of my least favorite stipulations ever. And I saw that and I go, oh, okay, well, whatever they're doing in NXT or whatever they're doing in TNA is going to get put on the back burner because I'm sorry, I have to get this out now. I can't stand it. I don't like winner-take-all. I don't.
Yeah.
You are completely halting the momentum of one of your champions just to get a big marquee match and to put two titles on one person. And
I see where you're coming from.
Right now, it's either, man, I'll talk about it more as this match goes on. But
it doesn't. Yes, yeah. So that point is totally valid. I think you can use winner take all if the match feels like a big enough, if you think the big mainstream audiences will actually care about how high the stakes actually are. I think back to Survivor Series 2001 when that winner take all mantra was used for the main event to put the alliance out of its misery. And that was it felt like that had stakes. The main event of WrestleMania 35 was also winner take all, but that was again because you didn't want to just have Ronda and Becky go one-on-one, and you had to put Charlotte in the main event, the first ever women's main event of WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean, winner take all, at least they're not going to call this shit the unified women's championship like AEW would. At least they're not going to call it that. But speaking of AEW...
Real quick.
Yeah.
This last thing, and this is a hot take just to show how strongly I feel about this. You know what my favorite and probably the only match that had winner take all that meant to me? Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior.
Except neither of us were alive when Hogan and Warrior locked horns at WrestleMania 6.
No, that's how much I do not like winner take all. Hogan and Warrior was the only time that stipulation felt like a huge fucking deal. And you know why? Because it was probably the first time they ever did that.
Yeah, yeah. So if, like, let's say if you had Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné as winner take all with the TBS title on the line at All In,
I would hate that. I would have hated that.
Why?
Because it would have muffed everything up.
Why? Mercedes has defended the TBS championship against everybody. Like, there's
what does Tony Storm need with the TBS championship? That's what I'm saying with this scenario right here. Jacy Jayne and Jordynne Grace and Masha Slamovich. What do all three of these women need two championships for? What do they need them for? You have one woman holding both championships across two companies, which is, I think that's why WWE's doing it. They want somebody to hold two different championships from two different companies. You know, let's say Jacy Jayne or Jordynne Grace win the Knockouts title. What about the rest of the Knockouts division? Flip it the other way around. What about the rest of the NXT women's division? Don't they have something to fight for?
They just want the visual. They just want the visual. Okay, the NXT and the TNA titles. Yeah, no, next thing you know, it's going to be Obafemi holding the NXT and the TNA World Heavyweight Championships at the same damn time.
Careful, you might just materialize that.
Yeah, but we were talking about AEW, and I think what you were going to get at, in Jordynne Grace's corner is newcomer Blake Monroe, formerly known as Mariah May. It was so, like, again, a lot like when Ricky Saints made his debut right before WrestleMania. They didn't mention Blake Monroe by name. They didn't call her Mariah May when she showed up in the Performance Center, wherever the fuck NXT is now. But she was in the crowd. The camera just panned up to her, and she looks out with like her dream just came true, which it actually did. Mariah May had been wanting to go to WWE the entire time, and everybody knew who she was. And she said the glamour has arrived in NXT. I can't do the accent right now. I'm sorry. But they gave her the name Blake Monroe. And I expected a new name. I'm fine with it. Yeah. It's going to take some
worse.
Yeah, it could have been way worse, like Braun Breaker, right?
Braun Breaker is a good name. I mean, they could have called her Mackenzie Dreamboat.
They could have
called her something stupid like that.
They could have called her. They could have called her Susie September.
Yeah, they could have. So here's the interesting thing about Blake Monroe. Really happy she's in WWE, but the first couple of weeks I'm watching her, I'm going, something's not clicking here. I don't know if it's because she's new.
She's a baby face.
Yeah, there you go. She's a baby face. She's this poppy pink Barbie dream girl baby face laying on a feather pillow bed. And I'm like, that's cool and all.
She's in a bubble bath.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but that's not the Mariah May I know. We know Mariah May from AEW, stabbing people in the back, going to war with them in absolute bloody fashion. And I'm just like, if this is your way to get Blake Monroe just, acclimated to the WWE crowd, it's fine, but something's missing here. Then it hit me. At Great American Bash, Blake Monroe told Jordynne Grace, I want to be in your corner for this championship match. The minute I saw that, I said, well, Blake Monroe's going to turn on Jordynne Grace. Because why else would she just randomly want to be in her corner?
And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Spoiler alert. But the wrestling itself was definitely solid. I respected Jordynne Grace as a worker for a long time. And I thought this was going to be her crowning moment. Because, like you said, it seemed like Jacy Jayne was just a transitional champion between Valkyria and Jordynne Grace. But when Mariah May... Blake Monroe. I'm sorry. It's gonna take a bit getting used to it. But as soon as Blake Monroe said, "I want to be in your corner," it was like, okay, all right, here comes the heel turn. You're absolutely right.
And before we get into that, I only noticed it in this instant, but I noticed other fans saying it. I don't know if Michael Cole and Wade Barrett were on something tonight, or if they're just not educated on the NXT product, but they acted like they didn't know what the fuck was going on.
That was my problem with it. The commentators did not, they were clueless, because what happened is,
Real quick, before you go on,
yeah,
Greg or Solomon, I can't remember who said it, they had the brilliant idea of either Corey Graves, Vic Joseph, or Booker T being on commentary for this match. And that would have worked perfectly because they call NXT every week. They could have smartened them up and be like, oh, if you guys haven't been keeping up with NXT, here's what's going on. You know, Jayne is doing this. She's part of this faction. Jordynne Grace won the championship match. Blake Monroe has been her friend. You know, you could just build not only the commentators in, or maybe the viewers that don't watch NXT.
Yeah. But you also want to show how far the women's division has come. And you probably don't want Corey Graves or Booker T gushing over how hot Mariah May is when you want to build that idea and you're trying to eliminate that stigma. As obvious as that statement is. Like,
you know what?
You don't
now
want
that you say that, I'm going to have to pay attention the next time I watch NXT and see if Corey Graves fawns over Blake Monroe the same way he did Mandy Rose.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
God, he was down bad.
Well,
where's Carmella with that rolled up magazine when you need her?
Well, Booker T was also down bad for Stephanie Vaquer. So, just like Bronson Reed is down bad for Sabrina Carpenter, apparently.
I mean, can you blame him?
If Twitter is meant to be believed. So, Jacy Jayne and Jordynne Grace are wrestling along. They're having a nice, solid little match. Jacy Jayne actually did impress me in this match quite a bit. She did hit a top rope Frankensteiner, which looked very nice. Jordynne Grace was doing her power moves. But Jacy Jayne's little friends on the outside start getting involved. And Blake Monroe is taller than both of them, so she is going to beat up both of the heels by herself. And now she has the NXT Women's title in her hand.
Real quick, before you go into that, this was the funniest part of the match. Jasmine Nix has the NXT Women's Championship, and I think she's just looking at it, and then Blake Monroe comes out of nowhere and just pushes her ass to the ground. Like, god damn, Blake Monroe is tiny, but if you watch AEW, she can fuck you up. I just thought that was hilarious how Nix was just looking at the title, and then boom, Blake Monroe takes her ass out.
Well, Blake Monroe was also just in the Hollywood ending not too long before this, so she can take an ass beating, Yeah. And she's hardcore. So Jordynne Grace, what happens is she hits the ropes. Blake Monroe with the belt right into the small of the back of Jordynne Grace, and Blake Monroe has stabbed Jordynne Grace in the back, literally.
And what does Michael Cole say? Was that an accident? I will admit, I wasn't paying attention when the finish happened. So when he said that, I was like, wait a minute. Did Blake Monroe turn, or is it one of those slow builds? And then they showed the replay, and I'm like, Michael Cole, you fucking idiot. Blake Monroe straight up hit Jordynne Grace in the back with the title. It's not like Blake Monroe went in the ring with the title during a ref bump, aimed for Jacy Jayne, and then accidentally nailed Jordynne. She straight up hit Jordynne in the back with the title.
Unbelievable.
No bones about it. That was a straight up heel turn. I don't care if you're not smartened up on the NXT product. A heel turn is a fucking heel turn, and it's right in front of you. Like, Cole, were you just scrolling Twitter? Were you checking up on the Knicks or the Mets? Were you not paying attention to the fucking match?
Could you imagine if in 2002 when Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series and Michael Cole, the fucking idiot, asks, was that an accident? Could you imagine?
Paul Heyman accidentally pulling the ref out of the ring, just like Blake Monroe accidentally hit Jordynne Grace with the title. No, this was a straight up heel turn. Jacy Jayne hits her finisher, pins and retains the NXT Women's Championship.
The rolling encore.
I forgot what it was called. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But before we go into the aftermath of this match, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Jacy Jayne retained so she can drop it to Masha Slamovich. I know that's crazy to believe that WWE would let one of their guys or one of their girls go in and lose the championship in the big winner take all. But I think if you're going to crown Jordynne Grace, why not have her be the queen of both promotions? Why not let Masha Slamovich hold on to the title for a little bit, have Jordynne Grace go through this feud with Blake Monroe, and then Jordynne Grace can win both championships?
I also heard that people were speculating that Jordynne Grace lost this because she's en route to the main roster sooner than later, and I'm like, I don't think you move Jordynne Grace up the more I think about it without her feuding with Blake Monroe. Because
or even her winning the championship.
There's no way that this character, Jordynne Grace, would let this heel turn go, there's no way she would push it under the rug.
No.
Absolutely no shot.
Just like, I thought it was a little odd that Stephanie Vaquer just dropped the championship and then she was okay with just going to Monday Night Raw. She doesn't even want a shot to get back the title she fought so hard to get. And also, I'm just thinking, even though the women's division in NXT is very strong right now, I think Jordynne Grace needs to be that centerpiece for just a little longer, maybe the rest of the year. I don't want them to take Jordynne Grace away from NXT right now because she is such a star and she is the definition of a world champion. So I think she needs to hold the championship, even for just a little bit, so she can be the centerpiece of that company, which is why I just think it would be a cool visual. Here I go, like kind of contradicting my own words. If Jordynne Grace is the one to hold both the knockouts and the NXT Women's Championship.
Well,
she is the queen of both companies.
She's not going to be the one because Masha Slamovich will probably do it first. But
after Masha Slamovich. I think WWE needs to throw TNA a bone because they put the world title on Trick Williams.
Yeah, he beat Joe Hendry.
Yeah, they need to throw TNA a bone and be like, hey, we know we put your world title on one of our guys and kind of beat your biggest star. We're going to throw you a bone. Masha Slamovich is going to hold both titles. Like, WWE has to at least do that. Like, come on.
Especially with how frequently Shawn Michaels seems to like tossing around the NXT Women's Championship between competitors. But anyway, this match gets 3 stars. I thought it was solid enough. Yeah, not really a whole lot else to complain about. And the obvious heel turn notwithstanding, it was solid enough.
Yeah, and I'm also going to give it 3 stars. I thought it was a solid enough match. It reminded me a lot of Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane from the first Evolution. A good enough match, but I think the NXT women were put on a card where, there's so much going on. Unfortunately, they can't take center stage. I think this was a good sampler of what you could watch on NXT. And I think that's what NXT needs to be when it's on the main roster. Kind of like hey, you like what you see here? Tune in on Tuesdays on the CW. You can see a hell of a lot more of it. And this is where I was like, yes, now Blake Monroe feels like herself in NXT. I did not like her as a babyface. She needed to be a heel. I saw some complaints saying, turning Blake Monroe heel was just WWE copying and pasting from AEW.
Nope.
I don't want to say that. I can see where you're coming from, but you're going to sit there and tell me that Blake Monroe is a better babyface than she is a heel.
Exactly. The sooner Blake Monroe is a heel, the better. And it was right to debut her like they did so the crowd could give her the warm welcome. Because everybody, again, they were going to cheer her when she came in and jumped ship regardless. Because anytime a big AEW name jumps ship, it's going to be a big deal. Ricky Saints, Ethan Page, Penta, Ray Phoenix, whoever the fuck else, Cody Rhodes, of course, obviously, CM Punk, And
I think it works the other way around too. When like Christian Cage went to AEW, they were going to cheer him regardless. So let him be the babyface, like you said, to get the warm welcome. You know what this reminds me of? When Bobby Roode came to NXT. When Bobby Roode came to NXT, he cut the babyface promo. He let all the fans get it out of their system. Hell yeah, Bobby Roode's in NXT. And then what did he do immediately after that? He fucking snapped on the fans. Did a 180, and that was the classic Bobby Roode we all know and kind of love, but hate at the same time because he's an asshole. Like, you need to establish what makes him the strongest. But yeah, you need to let the fans get it out of their system that, holy shit, so-and-so is here in WWE.
Yes. Well, you want to talk about getting stuff out of our system. I know we had a lot of hate to say about a certain competitor in this next match, but it seems like all the fans got it out of their system because this person was revered and beloved. And it's a big mess of a match, too. What do we got?
Yeah, I don't want to call this a clusterfuck. I'm just saying how we got here was pretty insane. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, you heard me right, the women's tag team champions.
The Judgment Day.
Representing Judgment Day, defending their women's tag team championships against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, the women's North American champions Sol Ruca and Zaria, and a recently reformed Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Can I say something?
Of course.
A couple things, actually. First of all, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss is a random tag team.
But it has a story.
It doesn't.
We'll get to it.
It doesn't matter if it has a story. It's still a random tag team.
Has a story and it works.
Sol Ruca and Zaria is also a random tag team. I will say that.
Well, if you watch NXT, you would see that they work very well together.
Yeah, but it's still a random tag team. They're 2 singles people. And the Kabuki Warriors, I still cannot get over this. As a theater major, I learned that the word kabuki is basically linked to Japanese theater.
Yes.
Can someone please tell me what is so kabuki about Asuka and Kairi Sane?
They wear flashy attire. Asuka has a cool mask. Kairi Sane is a pirate. Yeah, that's all I got for you.
Did Vince McMahon just name them the Kabuki Warriors because they're both Japanese? Because that's racist.
Would you rather him call them the Kawaii Warriors?
Well, I mean the Kawaii Warriors. I mean, well, they're not Hawaiian either. Kauai's an island.
Kawaii also means cute in Japanese, so
oh shoot.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
okay.
Yeah, I'm
so
glad.
We have a lot of setup here. First of all, Liv Morgan is injured. That fucking sucks. She was supposed to work with Nikki Bella at this pay-per-view, but that didn't happen. So they did the classic, don't strip them of the tag team titles, just give them a new partner. Roxanne Perez filled that slot perfectly because she was already doing stuff for the Judgment Day, and the story they were telling with her kind of just fell into their lap. So now with Perez and Rodriguez, kind of that odd couple tag team that are trying to get along. Sol Ruca and Zaria. Sol Ruca is the NXT North American Women's Champion. She has formed an alliance with Zaria on NXT, and they are quite impressive. Asuka and Kairi Sane. Oh boy, let me get this out of my system now.
Here we go.
So you mean to tell me that instead of bringing Asuka back with all of this fanfare, crowning her Queen of the Ring, and having her go to SummerSlam to challenge for the Women's World Championship,
I know where you're going with this.
You had her come back to all this fanfare, basically get us all excited for no reason, have her lose to Jade Cargill, and then you just throw her right back into the Kabuki Warriors. Let me get this straight right now. I fucking love the Kabuki Warriors. They are my favorite women's tag team in WWE history. But Asuka is such a big star, and she has been away from the World Championship for so long now. It is time for her, and Kairi Sane for that matter, to go for singles gold. I don't want them just to reform the team just because you have nothing for either of them. When literally, while Asuka was injured, Kairi Sane was racking up wins by herself. Asuka made it to the finals of the Queen of the Ring. I think the Kabuki Warriors can be a team where they can come back together when you need them, but just split them off when they're done doing their business there.
Well, damage control is no longer a thing because Dakota Kai is egregiously released from WWE. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Kairi Sane win the first ever Mae Young Classic?
She did.
Man, it's I don't want to say it's been a fall from grace from Kairi Sane, but it's just been a big string of bad luck because Nia Jax was very careless in the ring with her one time, and she got a concussion. She left the WWE
you can't really
for a little
say that
bit
anymore when Kairi Sane injured Zoe Stark.
Yeah, that's fair.
That when Kairi Sane was in the ring with Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Accidents happen. Let's just put it at that.
Yeah.
Accidents happen.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
And like I said, the Kabukis are awesome. I like seeing them together. Their theme song is a banger. And I know what you're gonna say now. Kairi Sane vibing to everybody's theme song was awesome, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah. It was like Brock Lesnar dancing to MVP's theme song when MVP returned to the Royal Rumble. That was funny. That was funny though.
And now for the big storyline going on in SmackDown. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. In kayfabe, Alexa Bliss wants to form this alliance with Charlotte, not because she likes Charlotte, but she sees success between them. Charlotte Flair obviously is, I'm a bigger star than you'll ever be. I want nothing to do with you. No, I don't want a team. But with the sheer power of persistence, Bliss was able to convince Charlotte to team up with her. They got into this match, but they're very much, cross-arm back-to-back. You stay out of my way. You stay out of my way. I don't like you. I don't like you either. It's a cliche as fuck trope, but you know what? I kind of like it.
You know what this sounds like to me? It sounds like how Mick Foley approached The Rock to form a tag team in 1999, and The Rock and Sock Connection was such an endearing pair. And it really, I don't want to say revitalized the tag team division in 1999 because, I mean, let's face it, there wasn't a tag team division. Ever since they decided to split up the New Age Outlaws and try and turn Billy Gunn heel, that was just random tag team central. You had Kane and X-Pac. You had The Undertaker and The Big Show, the Unholy Alliance, which had a banger theme song, by the way. The Rock and Sock Connection was a random tag team, but it's...
You know what it did? it revitalized both Rock and Mankind, which I think this revitalized Charlotte Flair
Yes.
because it was so relieving to see Charlotte in a storyline that doesn't involve her with the women's championship. Because I think that's what
Yes.
we're all sick and tired of. Her versus Tiffany Stratton was one of the worst matches at WrestleMania this year. That whole
Yep.
thing just kind of crumbled at its foundation. I think we needed a break from Charlotte, and Charlotte needed a break from us because she didn't have go away heat. She had go die in a hole heat. It was getting very uncomfortable to watch. Like there
Yeah.
was clearly a pure hatred between Charlotte and the fans to Charlotte. And it was
Yeah.
like, we were literally sitting here speculating after WrestleMania. We don't know how much longer Charlotte's going to last in the company. It is
Yeah.
very nice to see that she kind of has something going for her now. And it's very, and I mean, very refreshing. You know what else is refreshing? Seeing Charlotte look like an actual normal human being.
It's nice to see it looks like Charlotte Flair is having fun again.
Yeah, she has her hair in a ponytail with kind of like bangs in the front of it. She looks like a normal fucking human being and not a plastic monstrosity that came out of a laboratory.
Yeah, and I'll address this part too because the crowd, like I said, was so into Charlotte. There were very early chants of "We want Charlotte." I don't know if it has to do with Atlanta, Georgia being partially Flair country, but I think a good chunk of it has to do with the wonderful article that Charlotte wrote for the Players Tribune. It was all about basically it's kind of to commemorate 10 years of her on the main roster, which is nuts to think about. And how Ashley, the real Charlotte, Ashley Flyer, she got into wrestling because of her little brother Reed. Because it was Reed's dream to follow in his father's footsteps. And unfortunately, Reed is no longer with us. And Charlotte basically, after that happened, was, and this is kind of me spitballing here and like just kind of summarizing the article and what I got from it. But Charlotte basically went into the business because Reed wanted to, and she's fulfilling her brother's dream. And her brother were like this.
Yeah.
So, it was if you haven't read the article, I highly recommend it for sure.
It was also pointed out in the article how Charlotte was pointing out how her feelings were very hurt when Tiffany Stratton brought up her divorces in the build to WrestleMania.
Yep.
She said that she felt like her person, like her character, her actual person in Ashley was being attacked there. She felt like the fans really made fun of her for that. She said that she knows when to put professionalism before personal feelings. So when she went out there, the divorce wasn't even on her mind. In her mind, she wasn't even divorced, but that was kind of just like a stab in the gut, a real like a hard dose of reality for her. And that really put her in a dark spot. So I know we had our words to say about Charlotte.
And I did too.
Yeah, I know we had our words to say about Charlotte. And, as fans of wrestlers, I'm not saying you can't criticize a wrestler. You can't have you can't have your feelings towards a wrestler. But my advice to wrestling fans is try to be kind. Because remember, at the end of the day, these are real life human beings. And I don't think, regardless how you feel about Charlotte Flair, and I know I had my fair share to say, I've always been a Charlotte defender, but under no circumstance whatsoever, I don't think their person deserves to be attacked.
No.
Unless we're talking about Alberto. He can go fuck himself.
Yeah. Alberto can go die in a hole. But anyway, yeah, so the crowd really wants Charlotte. This is a fun match, man.
It is.
And I'm not even going to bother sitting here and complaining about how it's no disqualifications and these idiots are tagging in and out when they really shouldn't be. But there was one thing in this match that I really, really wanted to see. And when Charlotte got that hot tag, oh my God, she looked revitalized, didn't she? Like
we
she was.
got a "We Want Charlotte" chant.
That's what I was saying, man.
I challenge anybody to go back the last 10 years and find another "We Want Charlotte" chant. We went from "Go Die in a Hole, Charlotte," "Die Charlotte Die" via Rocky Maivia to "We Want Charlotte." And I'm not gonna lie, when I heard that chant, it made me happy. It made me happy to see that that fans have kind of changed their tune about her. And Charlotte, has a reason to keep going now. It was awesome. And it was awesome to see the in-ring and on-screen chemistry of her and Alexa Bliss begin to grow here because you say this reminds you of Rock and Sock Connection. This also reminds me of American Alpha and NXT because they formed kind of the same way. Chad Gable was begging Jason Jordynne to be his tag team partner. Jason Jordynne said, fuck off. I don't want to be your partner. Jordynne had some oddball tag team partners and he could not win a tag match. And then he said, it was basically Sam I Am and the guy from Green Eggs and Ham. Kind of like, okay, fine. You can be my partner. Let's see what happens. They instantly clicked. They became one of the best tag teams in NXT. I'm not saying Charlotte and Alexa Bliss are going to be on that level of tag team chemistry.
I don't know, man.
It's a cliche and a trope that it's a guilty pleasure. I love seeing we're polar opposites. We don't really like each other. Like Cesaro and Sheamus. They didn't like each other, and they had such good tag team chemistry. It's a blatant cliche, but I got to admit, I like it. Yeah. It's one of those cliches I like.
Even though they are all random tag teams and they feel very weird on the surface. But the one thing that I was talking about that I wanted to see was a little bit of a glimpse of a dream match that I want down the line between Charlotte Flair and Sol Ruca. And these two mixed it up, and the little taste that we got of what these two could do down the line, oh my God, was great. And Sol Ruca hit a fantastic soul snatcher.
I was going to say, if you've never watched Sol Ruca and you don't know what her finisher is, it's a backflip out of the corner into a cutter. It is the RKO on steroids.
Jeez, yeah, Sol Ruca is going to be special. That's like down the line, like maybe think 5 years, Sol Ruca could be a massive star.
I mean, she's already the women's North American champion. I think sky's the limit for her.
Mm-hmm. Raquel and Roxanne, first time they're teaming together. Roxanne looks really good in there. She's hitting pop rocks on Charlotte as well, which again is probably one of my favorite names for a finisher. It's just a code red and it's just a pun about her name, which I think is very fun. Roxanne hits a suicide dive. It's basically it's down to Raquel and Sol, and Raquel, I mean, she's still built like a brick shithouse, man. I mean, she can still go at that diesel energy. She lifts up Sol Ruca. Go ahead.
Talk about this spot real quick.
Yeah,
I forgot who it was. I think it was Zaria. Zaria went to spear Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair dove and pulled Alexa Bliss out of the way. And right there, I was like, there's that chemistry. That's what I was looking for. Because they're going from, we don't like each other, we're just trying to win the titles, to Charlotte cares about Alexa Bliss. Why else would she pull her out of the way? I like seeing that character development. I love it so much. And I think that was the highlight of the match for me.
And we're recording after the fact, obviously. Evolution is almost a week old. But Charlotte Flair and Alexa will actually be challenging the Judgment Day for the belts at SummerSlam. That might be where you strap them up. Like
that could be a sleeper match too.
It could be.
That could be a sleeper hit.
It could be really good. Yep.
Yeah, we could be looking at a potential hidden gem right there.
Who would have thunk it? The Women's Tag Team Championships, a belt that the company really has not given a shit about since the first year. But in any case, so there, Raquel has Sol in position for a Tejana bomb. She lifts her up as high as she can to the ceiling of the State Farm Arena. Boom, plants Sol all the way down on the mat, and that's a 3 count and a retention for the Judgment Day. And Roxanne is going to go buy a big plate of tendies for Dominic Mysterio to try and get him on her good side.
I am actually very shocked and disappointed that Dominic didn't run in for this match because I thought it would be hilarious.
It's a women's pay-per-view, and he's also busy making memes with AJ Styles, so...
Yeah, he is. But at the same time, seeing Dominic Mysterio interfere in a match with all of his future ex-girlfriends, that would have been funny as fuck.
I mean, well, you know that's coming. You know that's coming when Liv Morgan heals up. So, anyway, this was a 3.25 star match. I really enjoyed it. Again, really, really refreshing to see Charlotte having fun, which is a huge 180 from even talking about her 4 months ago. Yeah, I mean, not huge complaints about this match. I kind of wish it would have went a little bit longer, actually. It did get a little bit chaotic, and I feel like if, again, it's a given that I'm going to complain about it's a no DQ match, and they're tagging still. but it's
You
it's
know,
whatever. It's
you're
whatever, man.
obviously gonna get a little slop when you have 11 minutes and wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 women in one match. But I think they held it together very well. And when it comes to multi-women tag team matches, this was fine. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna give it, yeah, I'll match her 3 1/4. This was really fun to watch.
You know what else was really fun to watch? 25 years after her debut in the company in the year 2000. And it's actually fitting because we just talked about the last match she will ever have in her career at Unforgiven 2006. Yeah. Trish Stratus is challenging for the WWE Women's Championship in the year 2025. And she's going up against Tiffany Stratton for the belt. Which actually kind of plays into a little story that these two had. In case you forgot, on the road to WrestleMania, Trish and Tiffany teamed up against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae at Elimination Chamber in Toronto. And Trish looked really good in that match. And now Tiffany's basically returning the favor. And you know what's funny is, for the NXT Women's Championship, Jordynne Grace had to win some sort of eliminator or something like that. But then when you get to the main roster, then the champions can pick their opponents. And
that's where I saw a lot of complaints with the lack of the build. And I understand that because there was a lack of a build, and to see both women's world champions just pick their opponents. This case, I really don't care because any excuse I have to watch Trish Stratus wrestle, I'm always going to take it. But I have a very, very difficult question to ask.
Yeah.
Is Tiffany Stratton not delivering on the level we expected her to?
I wouldn't say that. If she's not, it's not her fault. And I will sit here, listen, man.
Yeah.
I will say this. Tiffany Stratton, I still think, is very over as a character. The Tiffy time thing is still a big chant that people will get into. But her last couple big defenses, including this one, I don't think they've really hit on the level that we've wanted to, either because A, her opponent didn't really care at the time, and Charlotte found it very unprofessional what Tiffany did, bringing up her divorce. But B, this match did not get enough time.
It didn't, no.
This was only 8.5 minutes for the Women's Championship on SmackDown. And, listen, some people might defend it and say, oh, Trish Stratus is getting old. Again, this is not a knock on the women involved. These two were just not, given enough time to work a proper World Championship match.
Trish Stratus hasn't lost a step. She looks as young as she ever did 20 years ago. And think about it. We are approaching the 20th anniversary of that retirement match. And she is still performing at a level that most people wish they could perform at.
You could argue that all of her matches since then have been better.
Yeah. And
every single one.
I agree with you. The lack of time really hurt because I just noticed some inconsistencies when it comes to Tiffany Stratton. You know, you have the dumpster fire that was her versus Charlotte Flair. Then you had an excellent match with Nia Jax on television. And then you have this match that kind of underdelivered. And I'm going to say this right now. I'm very nervous for her versus Jade Cargill because I don't think Tiffany Stratton is at that level where she can carry a match. And I think that's what Jade Cargill needs in a big time one-on-one world championship match. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm very nervous for it.
As we'll get into, I'm nervous about it too for different reasons. But here's my thing: if you have a wrestler, what kind of match did Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax have that was so excellent?
It was low-key a lady house fight.
It was also last woman standing, I believe.
Yeah.
So,
gotcha.
So my thing,
yeah,
we're not talking about that right now. It's still a shitty stipulation, but you have so. I think I figured out, and I don't want to be jumping the gun yet, actually. I'll bring it up in the next thing. But let me just say this for right now. Tiffany Stratton is not my main concern with this title match at SummerSlam. Because if these matches have under-delivered, I think they're under circumstances that are not Tiffany's fault. And she is still very new to the business when you compare, her to other, compare her to other workers. But Tiffany's still really, really damn good, man. I mean, I'm still a big believer in her. I think she has that superstar attitude, and she carries herself very well. And she sells really well as well. The stratosphere that she took off the apron looked nasty. And she's willing to take those big bumps. She absolutely is. She's fearless. So
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it really just boiled down to this match wasn't given enough time. And as great as Tiffany Stratton is, you still have to remember she's still kind of a rookie in the business. What? She was in NXT for a little over a year. They brought her up to the main roster and then they put the women's championship on her. That's a lot of pressure to put on somebody who hasn't really been in the business for too long. I agree with you. I'm still a big Tiffany Stratton believer, and I hope when she drops this championship, they kind of cool her down just a little bit so she can hone in on those skills. So the second time she wins the title, she's better than ever.
yeah, and again, sky's the limit for her. She's just getting started. And like again, she's just so graceful when she takes to the sky. Swanton Bomb looks really great. There were some good near falls in here too. I'll give this match credit where it's due because Trish hit a Stratus faction and Tiffy got her foot on the bottom ropes, I believe. And man, this crowd was into it, hook, line, and sinker, and they actually thought, "Holy shit, Trish Stratus could actually win the belt here." Like,
do you think that? And I don't say right now because the women's division is so hot. Do you think sometime in the future they'll ever give Trish Stratus a nostalgia run with the title?
I don't think so. I think at this point,
Fair
Trish is at this point where she understands that the future is now, which is why she put over Charlotte Flair in that clinic at SummerSlam, which is why she put over Becky Lynch in that steel cage. And now she's putting over Tiffany. And that's exactly what happened. So Tiffany actually does hit Trish with a chick kick, which I actually found to be a great little detail that a lot of people missed. And
let me guess. Stolen finishers was awesome.
You're damn fucking right they are. And Tiffany hits the prettiest moonsault ever, making even Christopher Daniels proud. She pins and wins to retain. I'm going to give it 3.25 stars. I thought the work they did for the time they were given was definitely solid. It would have been better if there was more time to build up to that drama, especially to that near fall, because that was a really good near fall with the Stratus faction. If you had more time to really tell a cohesive narrative, then this could have been a classic, but it had the makings of a classic.
15 minutes, and I'd be right there with you.
Yep.
Right there with you. But with that being said, I'm going to give it 3 stars as well. Now, obviously, Tiffany Stratton's on to defend against Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. Oh, boy. We'll see. We'll see.
Which brings us to her opponent, who is in this next match, Tomas, and it was probably one of the biggest overarching stories heading into Evolution. It's probably one of the longest running feuds going into Evolution, but it had a very surprising result. What do we got next?
Yeah, are you ready for me to totally contradict myself? It's Jade Cargill versus Naomi in a no-holds-barred match. And I'm going to say this right now, this was really good.
It's also known as a no disqualification match, right?
And
it's also known as an Extreme Rules match.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this right now. It had the very, very, very unnecessary stipulation of having Bianca Belair as a special guest referee. I don't think this was needed. I think this was a last-minute way to shoehorn Bianca Belair onto the card.
Well, because Bianca is still dealing with an injury, and I don't think it's as shoehorned as you're making it out to be. Because remember, Naomi put Jade Cargill in the hospital around War Games. She beat her up in that parking lot because of Bianca Belair. That promo Naomi cut when she first turned heel was basically a Rikishi heel promo. As Rikishi's daughter-in-law, she is going out there and saying, "I did it for you, Bianca. I did it for The Rock."
Yeah,
she's sitting there. Yeah,
except that's not realistic. The Rock's not going to show up.
No. Jesus Christ. No, he's going to show up at Elimination Chamber. He's going to make John Cena sell his soul to him and then say, "Nah, I don't need to tell any more story. My work here is done."
He's going to do that with Bianca Belair next. He's going to make Bianca Belair turn heel, and then he's going to peace out and go film, I don't know, the next $5 Walmart bin movie.
That's right. I'm still very upset with The Rock for how he handled the road to WrestleMania. But, okay, so I'm going to agree with you. And I've had my fair criticisms to say about Jade Cargill in the past. I have seen zero growth in her as a professional wrestler ever since she jumped ship to WWE. But here is what I was getting at earlier. when you have a wrestler like Jade Cargill and when you have a wrestler like Nia Jax who don't exactly light the world on fire for me, that's fun. You know, they can have a good match here and there with the right opponent. But if you put those ladies in matches with stipulations, then it really masks their limitations. Because Jade Cargill looked like a badass, didn't she?
She did. This match was really fun. And that's the best way I can put it.
She was using weapons, and Jade Cargill is a weapon.
Yeah.
She is built like a weapon. She doesn't need weapons.
I mean, it's your typical WWE no-holds-barred match. You have your usual suspects, the kendo sticks, the tables, the steel chairs. And I'm okay with that. Just use your environment in a very creative way, and I'm fine. And they use their environment very creatively. And probably one of the most unique spots in the match, Naomi takes Jade Cargill, and for some reason, there's a monitor on the side of the announce table. I felt like I was feeling a little gaslit there because Michael Cole says, "Oh, that's the monitor we have in the front of our announce table." And I go, "You're full of shit. That's never been there. That has never fucking been there.
It's been there since WrestleMania, dude. They wanted to look more like a sports broadcast. You know how NFL on Fox has those little moving graphics showing the scores on like a big gigantic television? They want the announce tables to look like that.
I never noticed that.
Wow. Shows you how seamless TKO can make some of their production sometimes, huh?
So Naomi flings Cargill into this, and the damn monitor explodes. I was scared the match was going to get stopped after that, but you want to talk about a unique spot. There you go. And it should also be noted that Bianca was a very impartial referee because she loves both women. She loves both Jade and Naomi. So you could tell that she was going to call it right down the middle. There wasn't going to be any sort of video game chicanery. There wasn't going to be any screw job. Bianca went in there and she did her duty as a referee. The finish of this match I thought was awesome. There's a table set up in the ring. A little telegraphed, but I liked it. I liked it.
A little bit, yeah. But it definitely, the visual of it was very cool. Jade picks Naomi up on the top rope. They're fighting, and oh man, she's going to hit Jade off the top. I'm looking at it, and it's probably the coolest iteration of that move that Jade has hit in her career. Because Naomi goes crashing through the table. These ladies do not proceed with caution in this match at all. They are throwing everything at each other. And Bianca hits the 3, and Jade Cargill wins. Listen, I said it was surprising earlier, but it really shouldn't be, because Jade Cargill has a world championship match at SummerSlam, and you got to give her a big win. This felt like the blow-off.
It did.
You know, and that's why I'm sitting here and I'm not as upset about Bianca being the referee. Because if it's the blow-off, if Bianca's this big part of the story, she has to be involved in the blow-off somehow, right?
Yeah.
So
to go, before I proceed on with those thoughts, before I proceed with caution, as Naomi would say, my issue with the finish was, as cool as it was both funny and a little like, come on, what are we doing here? So Jade Cargill takes forever to set up this move, and it's so telegraphed. But the look on Naomi's face, she looked like she was on the very top of Tiana's Bayou Adventure, ready to go down that big drop. Because she's like, no. But she was like, but at the same time, the look on her face was like she was prepping for it. She was mentally preparing herself for that move.
Could you imagine Matt Cardona at Disneyland with the Internet Championship?
No, because he's not the Internet Champion.
Well, could you imagine Naomi at Disneyland with the Women's World Championship on Tiana's Bayou Adventure?
A big Jim is accompanying her. But you know what? I'm curious now. Who is the Internet Champion? I'm sorry, not the Internet Champion, the Digital Media Champion.
The Digital Media Champion. But while you're doing that, this was a very fun match that I'm going to give 3.5 stars, which is probably the highest I've rated a Jade Cargill match. At least one-on-one. I'm sure when she was in a tag team with Bianca, she had some good matches because Bianca could do a lot of the work. But Jade was good. She had a really good showing in this match, as did Naomi. I thought, what's up?
Steph DeLander was the champion as of March 29th, and then Santino Marella stripped her of the title, retired it, and replaced it with the TNA International Championship.
Oh, great. Great.
So
I
that's
didn't
why
even,
AEW doesn't have international champion anymore. TNA took it.
well, I didn't even know that existed. But yeah, what did you think, man? This was fun.
I agree with everything you said. I know I just contradicted myself by saying, Jade Cargill isn't the strongest worker, but you put her with the right opponent in the right environment, and she really shined in this match. I had a lot of fun in this match. I know typical WWE no holds barred, typical WWE spots, but you can have fun. And I think that's what this is. And now to go back to my original thoughts, I unfortunately believe Jade Cargill is going to win the WWE Women's Championship at SummerSlam because we see where this is headed now. It's headed towards Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair feuding for that title.
Yep, it's leading towards probably Bianca turning heel, which is the wrong thing to do, especially because the people are going to cheer Bianca over Jade. That's at least what I think.
I feel like the fans have been clamoring for a Bianca Belair heel turn. I think it's time for her to turn heel. I think in the past 6 years she's been on the main roster, we have done everything we can with that character. A heel turn would be very refreshing for Bianca Belair, and I kind of welcome it. I do see what you're saying. I don't know.
What if Bianca costs Jade and Tiffany retains?
Ooh, that's an idea too. But at the same time, would Tiffany Stratton take the assist? Because we're talking about a babyface versus babyface match.
Yeah. Tiffany can turn back heel. She's probably a much better heel anyway.
I would have to look at the current women's roster and see if they could take 2 heel turns. But if you're concerned with Naomi losing both matches when she's missed Money in the Bank, stay tuned. I don't think you'll be upset by the end of the show.
Yeah, no. There's no way that my friend Doug especially will be upset by the end of the show when he got up in caution tape all over his body. But anyway, up next. Oh yeah, this is a match that you got to get all the women on the show, on for, because we have the second ever Evolution Battle Royal, where the winner will get a future Women's World Championship match at Clash in Paris, which is another show I'm very excited for, especially to hear the crowd chant "Un, deux, simple mon deux" for every 2 count.
And I know you're waiting for them to say something like, I don't know, Iyo Sky, Iyo Sky, or Rhea Ripley. Oh man, that doesn't work.
I don't think you're doing it right, but
or let me guess, Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, dirty Dom.
So there's a lot of women in this match, right? I don't know if I should list all of them.
If I can find a list, I'll do it for you. But no,
but we have. So very early on, Nia Jax is dominant because, of course, it's Nia Jax in a battle royal. She's got to eliminate a lot of people. This includes Tatum Paxley, who I had no idea was her. And very early on, Kalani Jordan from NXT is caught by both of these women, and she does the Kofi Kingston spot where she...
And Naomi.
Yep.
I'm tired of people not mentioning her. She did it too. But yeah, it was really fucking cool. Like, we've seen the handstand gimmick before, but I just thought the setup was really creative. First of all, like you said, she fell into Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame's arms, and then they dumped her on the announce table. And then Kalani Jordan does a handstand to the bottom rope, hooks her feet on the bottom rope, and pulls herself up and over the top rope.
It was great.
And I just looked at that going, I think Kalani Jordan just may have made herself a star there with that one spot.
Well, as long as they can make her a bigger star than her fiance, Carmelo Hayes, which they are doing nothing with right now. And I think that's egregious because Carmelo Hayes, his gimmick literally is him. Mello don't miss. Oh, that's a random tag team though.
Sorry, Mello don't miss.
So, So a couple big stories going on in this match. So first of all, Nikki Bella is in this battle royal, which I'm sure you were very happy to see. Nikki was supposed to do something with the Judgment Day, and I'm assuming the plan was, if Liv Morgan did not get injured, I'm assuming the plan was the Judgment Day versus the reunited Bella Twins. But things happen. Unfortunately, Liv Morgan's going to be out for a little bit. Nikki Bella.
Surprised. that you aren't referencing Greg's hilarious realization that that match was going to happen, where he goes, wait a minute, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan, they have these titles and they compete in these tag team matches and they might have to defend them. Oh, shit. Nikki has a twin sister. Oh, shit. We're going to get the Bellas versus Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to listen to Brie mode. Greg had a full-on John Cena moment when he realized that.
Oh, my God.
Yes, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I know, it is. It is. If Greg's watching this, yeah, that was really funny. Yeah. If I beat him, and I beat him, if they have the tag team titles, Nikki Bella has a twin sister. So that means they get the title shots. What?
I'm also going to say this now. I know I don't like the Bellas, but I'm in the minority. Brie mode slaps.
So
I have that shit blasting on my headphones. It's a banger theme song.
Nikki winds up in a mini feud with Chelsea Green.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot her name.
Wow.
Ricochet's wife.
Ricochet's going to come after you for forgetting Samantha Irvin.
Damn, I'm going to get stabbed with the golden pair of scissors. I'm fucked.
Damn, why is he bald? Why is he ugly? He's not going to come after you.
AEW, sir.
He's not going to come after you for that. He's going to come after you for forgetting his wife's name. But anyway, so Nikki... did Nikki end up eliminating Chelsea in here? She might have.
Maybe. I don't know.
Remember off the top. No. You know what it was?
The Bellas.
Chelsea does the Bella Twin, the shimmy, whatever it is that they do in their entrance, and it's not Nikki that takes offense to this because Nikki's down on the ground. Lola Vice from NXT is the one that takes offense to this, and she comes to Nikki's defense and. Bam! You have the third Bella Twin right there.
Yeah.
Lola Vice.
Nikki, Vice. Brie, and Lola. Okay.
Yep.
That's
right.
I also want to shout out Chelsea Green's awesome faction on SmackDown right now. The Secret Pervis, which is Piper Niven and Alba Fire. They're hilarious. I love how they wrestle in their suits.
But Chelsea Green is not the U.S. champion anymore, so it doesn't make sense.
She is still our fucking president, and you will show our fucking president some respect. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's a lot better than our current president right now.
I agree. I would vote for Chelsea Green. But in any case, it was... So Nikki did eliminate Chelsea Green with the help of Stephanie Vaquer, who does give Chelsea the devil's kiss. And yes, this crowd is fucking out of control with these chants.
You wouldn't? You wouldn't?
I would chant it, but I blame Booker T for putting this into the universe here. I blame Booker T.
I bet Akira Tozawa is fuming. He's fuming that his gimmick was stolen.
Yes. he should put a copyright on Stephanie Vaquer.
He should put a copyright on
Yes. Nikki Bella was actually okay, so that was one story that was going on. Candice LeRae in there. Stephanie Vaquer is a big favorite in here. And she's
Candice LeRae, who Michael Cole, for the second time, called Candice Michelle.
And Wade Barrett was constantly having to correct him.
Good.
And it was
good.
Yeah.
Look, I love Candice LeRae. She's one of the most underrated female wrestlers of that era. But
dude,
you look at Candice Michelle and you look at Candice LeRae, those are two entirely different people.
It's because they're both named Candice.
Yeah, and that's you know why. What? I don't think Johnny Gargano would let his wife pose for Playboy, if you catch my drift.
No, absolutely not. So Vaquer and the Women's United States Champion Julia team up for a little bit.
We never talked about that. Julia's the United States Champion now. Fuck yes. That's exactly what they needed to do with that title. And Julia needs to hold that title for like 5 years.
I sentence you to 7 years of Julia as the Women's United States Champion.
Hell yeah, that's not a punishment, that's a reward.
Yeah, I sentence you to 5 months of Stephanie Vaquer as the Women's Intercontinental Champion.
That's not a punishment, that's a reward.
I'm just being random here. You have another big story was Lash Legend from NXT. She
Yes.
came off like a stud, and she ended up in the final 2 of this thing. She wound
Lash
up
Legend, the one woman that WWE feels like they want to pull the trigger on, but they're just not doing it.
They just
Does it
never
feel like
do.
that?
They
Am I just
never
crazy?
do. How long has Lash Legend been with this company?
Oh, she's been in NXT for at least a couple years now.
Which is nuts to me.
I mean, they even split up her tag team and released her tag team partner. Like, I'm not saying put the title on her right now. I'm just saying if you're going to do something with her, can you do it, please?
Please.
Yeah.
It's like where's Finn Balor's push?
I mean, it just feels so stop and start.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're gonna do that. Just kidding. See you in 6 weeks.
You don't say.
Oh, here we go. No, just kidding. Oh, metaphor's not a thing anymore. No. Dude, stay on NXT for a few more months.
Lash Legend eliminated Nikki Bella in this match, which a lot of people consider a big deal because Nikki Bella is a massive star. For a lot of, say what you want, man. Nikki Bella was so damn popular with this crowd. Like,
yeah, I'll let the Bella Army have their thing. She just does nothing for me. Absolutely.
And that's fine. That's
and remember
fine.
what I said earlier about omitting a couple of names? No, I do not think Nikki and Brie revolutionized the women's division.
No, they didn't. No, they
not.
didn't. No, they didn't. Yeah, you're right.
If anything, they set women's wrestling back 20 years.
Not Stephanie. Lash Legend eliminated Nia Jax as well, which was very impressive. I think Stephanie Bacquer helped her out. But the finish of this, so the final 2 was Stephanie Bacquer and Lash Legend, which got me thinking. I'm like, Lash Legend's in NXT. No way they call her up and just give her the match in Clash in Paris without any build.
That's too soon. It's still too soon.
Because they've been hyping up Stephanie Bacquer. She has been the next popular star in the women's division, probably one of the most popular stars in the women's division since Mommy. These crowds adore her for a bevy of reasons.
Yeah, what do Stephanie Bacquer and Rhea Ripley have in common? Oh, yeah, that's right. The crowd is very down bad for them.
Yes. Yeah.
One of these days, Stephanie Bacquer is going to do the devil's kiss to Rhea Ripley, and then I'm scared that the apocalypse is going to start.
She already did. At Money in the Bank.
Oh, she did. Oh,
she already did. This crowd needs to calm the fuck down. Seriously.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to stop you if you do, but I mean, as a happily partnered man, I will probably not partake in that. So, anyway. Anyway.
Miles Bourne is a lucky fucking man.
Oh yeah, no, that's right.
I just imagine like an agent from the Matrix. I want like Morpheus coming up to me and saying, "Okay, here's the deal. You can take this pill. You will date Stephanie Bacquer, but you're going to lose your hearing." And I would say, "Fuck yeah, I didn't need to hear anyway."
Why does he look like Kyle Fletcher?
No, he looks like Randy Orton.
Well, why does he look like Mark Jindrak?
No, he fucking doesn't.
Why does he look like?
Does not.
Why does he look like Sid from Toy Story?
He looks like Randy Orton.
Debatable.
Miles Bourne is like Miles Bourne. He might be becoming one of my favorite people in the business because when people started saying he looked like Randy Orton, he put on Twitter, "I hear voices in my head. I can't hear anything actually."
Because he's partially deaf. That's funny. That's funny. At least he can laugh at himself. But anyway, Stephanie Bacquer ends up taking home the win, otherwise known as Miles Bourne's girlfriend, and she hits Lash with the 619. She actually does hit the devil's kiss on the apron, which again, if the crowd wasn't going down bad, like you could call this a very devastating maneuver. And after the match, and we totally neglected to mention at the beginning of the show, a certain someone coming out. Stephanie is interviewed by Stephanie.
I knew you were going to say that. Stephanie McMahon. She invented women's wrestling.
Yes. Yeah.
She invented women.
Son of a bitch. No, she did not invent women. I mean, yeah. I know that promo she cut in 2015 felt very manufactured and saying, "Hey, Here's women. They're really good. Come on down.
He invented women's wrestling, man.
You're the next contestant on women's wrestling. That's what that promo was.
Make the joke. I know what joke you're gonna make. Just make the joke.
Oh, fucking hell. 70 McMahon asks a question to Valkyria in Spanish, and it legit sounded like if a white woman like just completely spoke Spanish in a Mexican restaurant and smiled and was very proud of themselves.
She is the type of woman that would say gracias in a sushi restaurant. You know damn well.
Do I need to pull up the meme that I sent you, Tomas? Hold on.
Yeah, while you're doing that, you know damn well Stephanie McMahon was in the back on her phone doing a Duolingo lesson.
There it is. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
You know damn well Stephanie McMahon was on her phone in the back looking at a Duolingo lesson right before she had to go out.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. So, Stephanie Valkyria, again, English is not her first language, so the promo is not gonna, she says stuff to the crowd. They probably don't understand half of it, but
Stephanie Valkyria recovered it in the perfect way. She said, English may not be my first language, but wrestling is. I'm like, oh, that's it. I never need to hear her say another word of English. She just cemented herself.
Yep.
That was fucking awesome.
She doesn't need to talk. She doesn't need to talk anymore. You could give her a mouthpiece if you wanted to. Someone to be her manager. Not that
it's relevant anymore. I found the full list of the participants. The only ones we did not mention were Ivy Nile, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Jada Parker, B-Fab, Michin, Zelina Vega.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah. Just for those who keeping score at home.
It's pretty much any woman that doesn't have a match on the show was in this Battle Royal. But it was a fun Battle Royal. I mean, I'm not going to... It was well put together. I thought it was entertaining. I'm going to give it 3 1/4. Again, Battle Royals are tough to do. But if you format it the right way, if you have enough drama, if you have enough interwoven stories within said Battle Royal, it can be very entertaining.
And I don't like rating Battle Royals, so this Battle Royal is going to get 1 Orange Cassidy thumbs up.
There you go. And now Stephanie Valkyria is going to get a women's championship match at Clash in Paris. Who she faces, that still remains to be seen. It will probably be it probably won't be determined until after SummerSlam.
And it's going to be determined big time by this match, the main event. I was looking so forward to this. Iyo Sky defending the Women's World Championship against Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Rhea Bloody Ripley. We saw 2 of these women in a triple threat match with Bianca Belair absolutely tear the fucking house down at WrestleMania. It was the best match of the weekend. Here we have it, kind of running it back this time one-on-one style.
I would have Punk, Rollins, and Reigns over that match, personally. No. But
the women stole the weekend.
They did. My personal favorite match was Punk, Rollins, and Reigns, but I think if we're going on pure wrestling alone, that women's triple threat was probably the best thing all weekend.
You know what's one of the reasons why I picked that over the other triple threat? Why? At least that triple threat, the women's triple threat, had something on the line.
Well, what do you mean? The other main event didn't? It didn't have Paul Heyman's managerial services on the line?
Who fucking wants that?
Seth Rollins apparently
still had to win Money in the Bank.
Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, a lot of people want Paul Heyman's managerial services.
They should have just put him on a poll then.
God damn it.
But despite there not being a lot of build here, there is one part of the story that is just eaten at Rhea Ripley's craw. Ever since WrestleMania, ever since losing the Women's Championship, she has never beaten Iyo Sky one-on-one. And this has Rhea Ripley fueled to defeat Iyo Sky and win back her Women's World Championship. This match fucking ruled.
This was so awesome. And these women got a little over 25 minutes to tell a phenomenal story. And the mind games that were going on very early on with Iyo doing the taunt that she does, like, I'm thinking. Like, she looks in your eyes and she's like, I'm going to slice and dice you, but I'm thinking of my next move. And then
I think another
Rhea,
reason why
yeah,
the
go for it.
crowd just resonate with Iyo Sky so much is she is so damn charismatic.
And
And that
Iyo Sky is legitimately one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like,
she is.
you know,
Absolutely.
it doesn't matter what gender, Iyo Sky is up there for sure.
She has been one of my favorites that was a Freudian slip. Ever since she was in NXT, I feel like she kind of got a rough start on the main roster. And I know a lot of people are a little underwhelmed with her Women's World Championship reign, but I love having Iyo Sky as champion every time she's in there. She puts on banger after banger after banger, and this match was an absolute banger. Props to Jessica Carr for taking a springboard missile dropkick from Iyo Sky. That didn't look fun whatsoever. That gave the women the opportunity to brawl into the crowd.
Yes.
And Iyo Sky with a huge splash off of the balcony onto Rhea Ripley. That was scaring me. I thought she was going to go for an over the moonsault because we all know how batshit insane Iyo Sky is.
Yeah, putting a trash can over her head in War Games. Even before that, the wrestling between these two was so good and it's so smooth, and the chemistry was definitely there. Rhea Ripley, again, nobody takes a DDT better than Rhea Ripley because of how she spikes herself, and it just looks so devastating when she does it, and the faraway look she gets in her eyes every time she gets hit with the DDT. It's amazing.
I want her versus Pac, just so they can give each other DDTs and see who can sell better.
Yeah. Ripley also went ahead and hit her best friend, Damian Priest's Razor's Edge, and she also hits the... there's riptides that are countered out of. I mean, it was. I can't call this hold for hold, man. It was just so damn good.
Was excellent, not just because of the wrestling in the match. The story was there. These ladies just click instantly. I recall her, Charlotte Flair, and Rhea Ripley in a triple threat at the first NXT In Your House, where Iyo Sky jumped off the In Your House set. Like, ever since then, these two women have just clicked.
Yeah. Oh, I completely forgot about that match because it was pandemic WWE. So
that was the first NXT review I think we did.
It might have been.
You just did it solo.
One of them.
The first wrestling review you did.
One of them, yeah. No, I forgot about that. Yeah, well, it might. No, Double or Nothing 2020 was the first wrestling review I did. It was the very first video I ever did on wrestling.
Wow.
Because I remember Stadium Stampede. So. I remember talking about Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, how could you forget Stadium Stampede? Hangman and our world champion rode on the field on a fucking horse.
Santana and Ortiz reacted to the Matter of Facts graphic while they were in the swimming pool.
And let me guess, that was hilarious.
Chris Jericho challenged the play when the referee counted 2.
Let me guess, it's the greatest AEW match in history.
One of them. 100 yards of Northern Light suplexes for a touchdown. Come on. Like, I'm very much digressing here. As usual, this podcast has gone off the rails and gone very off topic. 200 episodes deep and still counting. It's insane, man.
Yeah, you have 2 hosts that have ADHD. What do you expect to happen? We just start talking about stuff.
I mean, yeah, there you go. So Iyo's hits that beautiful looking crossbody off the equipment crate. She had to have been at least 10 feet in the air, maybe 15. And again, it should be noted that there was some very heavy padding and carpet on the spot where Ripley took the bump. And Iyo Sky definitely could have done an over the moonsault if she wanted to, but they went the safe route, which I'm all for. Don't do anything too stupid to get yourself hurt, because God knows if WWE needs more injuries. And Iyo Sky, again, so they go back to the ring, and the referee Jessica Carr was out for that whole brawl into the crowd. Iyo hits the over the moonsault. Rhea Ripley kicks out. And I'm like, another fucking kick out.
Yeah, this match was going amazingly. And this is where I have to say, the finish of this pay-per-view was spoiled for me, but not fully. So I know I'm kind of bearing the lead here. I know Naomi cashed in Money in the Bank, but I saw the spoiler and I quickly pulled my eyes away from it. I didn't see which championship she was holding up. I didn't see the headlines of Naomi wins the so-and-so championship. So I assumed she cashed in on Tiffany Stratton because I assumed she was going to cash in on Tiffany Stratton. And when I saw the Tiffany Stratton to Stratus match, I go, weird. I wonder why Naomi's going to show up. And then she lost to Jade Cargill, and I go, weird. When did she cash in? It was in this match.
Yep.
Nobody saw this coming. Nobody fucking saw.
I can't have predicted this at all. Like
Naomi's music hitting, her running to the ring, Seth Rollins WrestleMania 31 style, cashing in the briefcase, her being so hyped up to cash in this briefcase that she didn't hear the bell ring. She immediately turned to the timekeeper and screamed at him to ring the bell. And she rushed in. She took advantage of the situation, and she won the Women's World Championship.
I'm so happy for her, man. For the first time since I feel the Glow in 2017. First time in 8 years she's held a world championship in WWE. I could not be prouder of her and how far she's come on this journey.
And all I have to say about this is she told all of you to proceed with caution. And I don't think any of you listened. I didn't listen. I don't think you listened.
No, I did not.
None of us listened. She said proceed with caution and see what happens. You get burned. Yeah. Everybody got burned here. Naomi is such an interesting character to me. You want to talk about somebody that back in like 2013, I didn't give a rat's ass about. She was a funkadactyl. She was a total divas reject. Yeah, I said it. When she feel the glow on SmackDown Live, I didn't care for it. It wasn't until she made her return in 2019, I want to say, in the Royal Rumble, that I started going, she's kind of cool. Let's see what she's got. I hated her first run as SmackDown Women's Champion. I thought it was very forced. She got released from the company. Oh, no, she walked out of the company in 2022, took her ball and went home with Mercedes Moné. She went to TNA. She reinvented herself. She had one of the best women's feuds of all time with Jordynne Grace for the Knockouts Championship. She came back. Huge pop. I was happy. Kind of muddled around in the mid-card for a little bit. I was a little concerned. She turned heel. She won Money in the Bank. She won the World Championship. It's fucking awesome.
What a trajectory. What a trajectory, man. And again, nobody guessed that she was going to cash in during this match, which was going along and was on pace basically to be one of the greatest women's world championship matches we've ever seen. And it still is. And I'm not going to sit here and say it's a wrestling masterpiece yet, because, again, you cannot call any piece of entertainment a masterpiece when it's only a week old. You cannot fucking do that. You have to wait at least a year. Like, if you were to ask me around this point, August of 2026, if I rewatched it, I can call it a masterpiece, definitely. I'm not going to sit here and say that right now because it's too early. You know,
This match was excellent. This match was amazingly wrestled. This match had an amazing story. It had an amazing twist. It had an amazing finish. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. This was an excellent main event to an excellent women's pay-per-view. And I want more of these. And thinking about it, I know what your rating is going to be. I'm also going to give it a 9 out of 10 because I want more of this shit. Because wrestled like they had a chip on their shoulder. The matches were excellent. The crowd was into it from start to finish. This was a damn near perfect pay-per-view.
It really was. The only real nitpicks I have, because I am going to give it a 9 out of 10, that main event, everything, the whole package, the match and the cash-in, the surprise and the win for Naomi, that's 5 stars. I am going all out for it. It was so good. Like, WrestleMania 31 is a time I'll never forget. And some people might call it recycled from 10 years ago. I don't give a fuck. I love this format of the Money in the Bank cash-in. So, 9 out of 10. Please do not wait another 7 years to do Evolution WWE. I hope you learned your lesson. And if you guys want more women's wrestling pay-per-views like this, make your voices heard and let Triple H know, let TKO know. Do this every year. Absolutely.
And not only should this be a yearly pay-per-view, do not, and I repeat, do not sandwich this pay-per-view at the tail end of 3 other shows. Please. This pay-per-view deserves its own weekend. The men can take a back seat for 1 week. And they did, because on Monday Night Raw, there was one men's match. The rest of the matches were women.
It was
And
the gauntlet. It was the gauntlet
Yeah.
that CM Punk won.
And I was pleasantly surprised when we went into the opening segment, into a women's match, into another women's match, into a third women's match. I'm like, oh, fuck yes.
Well, in SummerSlam, there have been 8 matches announced so far. Half of them are women's matches. Which I'm like,
a triple threat match for the women's world champions between Naomi, Iyo Sky, and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, which should be awesome.
Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. We have Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and the aforementioned tag team title match between Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair.
And in addition, at that point, we have the John Cena versus Cody Rhodes rematch, which I have every faith is going to be better than their Mania match because there's no fucking Travis Scott involvement. Please, you have the celebrity involvement with the tag team match with Randy Orton and Jelly Roll against Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul, which I'm very indifferent towards it. We'll talk about it.
I'm looking forward to it.
Gunther versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, which should be a really good first time ever match. And just announced Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu in a rematch for the U.S. title, but this time it's going to be in a steel cage.
Ooh, I'm down with that.
Yeah, I think that match is going to be fucking dope. I think that SummerSlam is shaping up to be a good show, man. And I can't wait to talk about that with you and all you people who have been supporting the ZNT Wrestling Show from the very beginning. This has been episode 199. Next up is number 200, Tomas. Can you believe it?
I can't, and I'm just trying to think, what's it going to be? Is it going to be a current pay-per-view? We got SummerSlam coming up. We have the retros that keep going. We're going to talk about No Mercy 2006, which
I thought it was a good show.
I've yet to watch it yet, but from what I'm remembering,
I think it's a better show than you're remembering it. So, what, you don't want to talk about a fatal 4-way match with King Booker against Finlay, Lashley, and Batista?
I mean, we were originally going to get Batista versus Finlay, so at least we were saved from that.
You don't want to talk about The Undertaker and Mr. Kennedy going 20 minutes to end in a disqualification.
And the title's not even on the line.
Yeah, because The Undertaker is better than the United States Championship. That's right.
I look forward to talking and watching everything along your side. It's the ZNT Wrestling Show. God help me. 200 reviews with you. Here's the 200 more.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I like to hear, my friend. Thank you so much again for your support, everybody. Commence that back talk. Let us know what you thought of Evolution. Talk to you guys soon and see you for 200.